Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head over the water to Denmark once again. We're going to go to Copenhagen and revisit one of the famous Danish gypsy breweries, and these guys are actually one of my favourite breweries overall. I've never had a bad beer from these guys. So we're going to To, which translates into English literally as two beers, and we're having a look at their beer that appeared in Sjaelland recently. This one is the My Pils, and it comes in at 4%. It's a Pilsner beer, and I always enjoy these craft takes on the German Pils styles. They usually always turn out quite nicely, and generally when it comes to things like lagers, pilsens, German Pilsner beers, I really do enjoy the kind of takes that you get from a lot of these craft breweries. And one of my favourite beers that I drink at home actually is Caesar Augustus from Williams Brothers, or the Sjaelland from Harveston Brewery at home. Two of my local breweries, and I really enjoy both of those beers. So I always enjoy reviewing beers like this on the channel for you as well. I don't review all that many lager beers, so I hope you guys enjoy this one. But anyway, as is usual with my beer reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you do want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other To reviews I've done for you before. No doubt there will be more in the near future, and there's all the usual social media. Make sure you check that out. If you want to see more beer reviews, do subscribe to the channel, and as always, to those of you watching in Denmark, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other Danish beers and breweries you guys would like to see me review. I've enjoyed the Danish beers I've reviewed so far, so do let me know some of the other ones I need to look at. But anyway, To, of course, was founded by Tobias Emil Jensen and Tori Gainter, who were actually students of Mikkel Bjergso, who obviously is the big boss at Mikkeller. And originally they brewed with him in their school kitchens in 2005, and they continued to homebrew until 2010 when they founded To, which, as I said, in Danish literally means two beers. But when Mikkel had started up Mikkeller and he found out that his former students were still brewing, he insisted that they do a collaboration brew together, and this became the first commercial To beer, which was a double IPA. And despite their kind of fairly short existence so far, they're actually doing very, very well. They're very well regarded in craft beer circles, and they're distributing to maybe about 40 or 50 countries these days. To are doing very, very well. But as is the case with Mikkeller, they're a gypsy brewery, so they don't own their own equipment, and rather they use the spare capacity at other large breweries. And in Nørrebro in Copenhagen, they do have a collaborative beer bar with Mikkeller, which is called Mikkeller and Friends, and that's kind of their home base as such. But there is another one of these in Reykjavik in Iceland. They also have one, I think, in San Francisco, and they've got a few other ones like in Mikkeller and Friends in Bangkok. I think there's one in Tokyo now as well. So Mikkeller and To kind of go quite closely together, and they've got all of these bars all across the world. So this is a brewery that you really do want to try. Like I said, I've never had a bad beer from these guys, so make sure you try them. Some of the best ones that I've had so far have been the First Frontier. That's a really good beer. The Garden of Eden was nice too. Black Malts and Body Salts is really good as well. It just depends very much on what you like, but pretty much pick a style of beer from these guys and you certainly will enjoy it. But anyway, let's actually get on to the review of this beer itself. So this one is a 4% Pils beer. It's hopped with Tettnanger hops, which of course the famous German hops from Bavaria, Amarillo and Mosaic from America, and it's got a malt base of Pilsner, Melanoiden, Carapils and Munich malts. On the back it says, "We bring you a quaffable session Pilsner, a smooth body balanced with Melanoiden and Munich hops, topped with Mosaic and Amarillo and Tettnanger hops to create a flowery, almost fruity aroma profile. This is one zesty and refreshing Pilsner. It's my Pils." My brain kind of had a little bit of a brain fart there. But as you can see, it's quite nicely presented. You can see the cover on this one. I'll just let you have a little look at it. Plain bottle cap as always with To, but you can see it's got that nice kind of wood grain pattern to it there. And there you can see the To symbol on this beer. I always like that actually, and they always have these nice little top labels as well. But I'm guessing that this beer, it actually says here, yeah, it's brewed at the Prof Brouwerij in Locriste Heefde, which is near Ghent in Belgium. Of course, many gypsy breweries brew their beer there. Mikkeller is one, Mohawk here in Sweden, and To, of course. There's a lot of craft breweries, or gypsy breweries, brew their beers there in Belgium. But let's get this guy open. It's also worth pointing out that the deal to bring this beer into Sweden, I actually got this beer in Sjaelland, and of course if you have your beers in Sjaelland, you have to actually, and you're a foreign brewery, you have to have what they call a tender deal. And To, of course, agreed this back I think in October or November of 2015, and this beer I only saw it arrive maybe a couple of weeks ago, and I've been really interested to try it ever since. I've had this one since I got some of the other small portier beers the other day, but it should be very, very nice. I always enjoy these kind of craft Pilsner beers, but this beer, Toil now have a deal with Systembolaget as of October 2015, so hopefully there'll be many more of their beers coming through small portier and things like that. But as you can see, this beer is poured a really nice, bright, golden colour actually. It's not even really amber, it's definitely a bright, yellowy golden colour. You can see it is opaque. If I put my fingers behind it there isn't really a transparency to this beer, but you can see it is fairly opaque. There's a finger of a frothy white head, some big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, and quite a few little ones going up towards the bottom there. Also worth pointing out actually that I saw on Toyo's website that this beer costs 30 Danish crowns, but I actually bought it in Systembolaget for 18 Swedish crowns. So it's actually cheaper here in Sweden than it is in Denmark, and the company is from Denmark, so it's kind of unusual that way, but I suppose if it's being imported into Denmark, the taxes and things are different, so yeah, that's maybe not a fair kind of comparison if you like. But yeah, you can smell the melanoid and malts in this one actually. To be honest, to me it smells more like a pale ale than it does a Pilsner. Just on the first nose you can smell these melanoid and malts. There's a bit of bready character in there. Really quite a good bready on. The hops are coming out nicely. You can actually pick up the Amarillo and the Mosaic hops coming out nicely too. You can pick up a little bit of grapefruit from that Mosaic hop. The Mosaic hop, of course, in my experience, gives you a little bit of grapefruit, a kind of dark floral aromaticity, and also a bit of earthiness. And the Amarillo is a nice orangey and quite floral hop too. You can definitely smell both of those, but for me it's the Mosaic coming out. The noble hop character you'd expect from the Tettnanger must be, it's quite subtle actually. If there's anything in there, it really is quite subtle. The American hops are dominating the aroma, and when it comes to Toil, of course, that's kind of what you would expect. I don't know if they've ever used Tettnanger before actually. They probably have with the amount of beers that they've used, but normally they like to use American hops. But actually the beer really smells more like a pale ale, or maybe even a light IPA, than it does a Pils beer. But you can smell the melanoid and malt in this one. There is a bit of bready character under there, and some sort of biscuity or slightly caramel thing in there. The bready character, of course, will be the Munich malts. They've got carapils in this one as well. But yeah, it smells really nice. Like I say, more like a pale ale. But let's get stuck into this beer now. It smells really nice, so just enjoy that a little bit before you actually get stuck in. But this is the My Pils 4% German-style Pilsner beer from Toil, one of the gypsy breweries from Copenhagen in Denmark. Skål! Oh yeah, now, it does smell like a pale ale, but it's definitely a Pilsner beer. There's no question about that. And you can get more of the Tettnanger hop coming out in the flavour. Definitely. So as I always say with the beers, sugar it around your palate a little bit and let the whole mouth adjust to this one. But this is a nice Pils beer. It does have a little bit of pale ale character to it, but mainly these kind of Pils flavours are kind of shining through in this one. It's almost like a kind of amped up Pilsner, if you like. You've got more malt in here, more of a bready character backing up this beer, and then you've got a good bit of American hop in it as well. So it's almost just like a kind of amped up Pilsner beer. It doesn't really taste much like a German beer, I would say though, which I was expecting, because it says it's a German Pilsner, and when it's got Tettnanger hops in it too, you know. But yeah, that's a pretty nice beer. If you want a good summer beer and you want something that's a bit better quality in Sweden or in Denmark, of course, than the likes of Örebro or like Carlsberg and things like that, you know, this is the ideal replacement. They've managed to make it so that it's a nice light session beer, but it's got a good bit of American hop beer, and this is why I always enjoy looking at the sort of craft beer takes on the lagers, the pilsners and the pilsens. They always turn out really nicely, and for me, this one has a lot of other beer reviewers I know, don't really like doing pills and lager beers and things like that. They're more into the IPAs and black IPAs, stouts and all this sort of thing. But I do enjoy coming back to these beers and seeing how they come across. And you know, Toil, there's no better place to come in the craft side of things for one of these lighter beers. But yeah, for a Pils beer, that's really nice. So we'll rate it in that regard. In terms of the malt base in this one, across the middle of your palate, you're just getting a nice kind of bready character. It goes right across the middle of the tongue. It's definite Munich malt character in there, which is really nice. You've got a slight little bit of a biscuity sweetness in there, which will be coming from the caramel malt. Almost tastes like the kind of biscuity syrup, a little bit like McVitie's digestive biscuits. I always compare it to that, but really it's a big kind of bready German malt base. It really is the Munich malts that are coming out in this one for me. You can pick up a little bit of the melanoidin flavour in the middle of the palate, and that's quite distinctive. That's something that you, after you've tried a few beers within, you will start to actually notice it. But the Munich malts are coming out really nicely in this one. It's almost like a German Pils beer, but with American hop in it. It's probably fair to describe that. It's more like a German malt base, but then an American hop character on top of it. But yeah, on the hoppy side of things, when the beer moves more into the aftertaste, you start to pick up some of these Tettnanger characteristics. The Tettnanger hop, and the German noble hop actually, has this very distinctive, smooth, floral aromaticity to it. There's a little bit of grassy character as well, and you get a little bit of a smooth earthiness, and you can detect that just underpinning this beer. And on top of that, you're getting the more American hop characteristics. So there's the floral aromaticity that you would get from the Amarillo, the smoother grassiness that comes out a little bit from that too, but you also get some of the darker floral aromaticity that comes with the Mosaic. I always found Mosaic to be a bit darker, and there's a bit of earthiness at the back corner of the palate. So in a way, Tettnanger is a very good hop to kind of complement the Mosaic hop. It's quite similar in characteristics of what it actually has, but the flavours of these characteristics are slightly different for me. But this has turned out really nicely, so well done to Toil on that regard. There is a little bit of fruitiness to this one as well, but it's not really, it's maybe just a light kind of citrus. I'm not picking up the oranges or the grapefruits that you can a little bit in the aroma. Like I said, this beer to me really smells like a pale ale. If I was just smelling it blindly and told identify it, for me it really does smell like a pale ale. But in the flavour, it's just got a light citrus. You know, the hops, as you would expect from a Pils beer, are really more floral, grassy and aromatic. It's got all of those kind of flavours. Really, when it comes to fruitiness, you're thinking of a pale ale or an IPA, and of course the dark beers have the red esters in there as well. But it's a very, very nice lager beer, and for a summer's day, you know, you have to give this one a go. It's really nice, and it's quite cheap here in Sweden too. It's about 17 or 18 crowns if I remember correctly. But yeah, that's a nice beer. You know, it does what it's supposed to do. The Pils supposed to be a sessionable beer. Thumbs up to Toil on this one. It's really nice. As I say, the best way to describe this beer is a German malt base, but with an American hop topping on it too. And it does have just a subtle little bit of German hop as well. But overall, I would say it's a pretty solid beer. There's no two doubts about that. A nice sessionable lager. I always enjoy looking at the lagers and Pils beers, the craft takes on them, like I've said a few times. In terms of the mouthfeel of this one, I would say it's mid-bodied. The German malt base in this one gives it a good little bit of body. It's quite crisp at the same time though. The carbonation is moderate, and that helps bring out some of the aspects, the good floral aromaticity of these American hops. In the aftertaste, the bitterness just kind of lingers there. It does actually have a good bit of dry and bitter character to it, this beer, which is really nice, and it makes it quite crisp and quite refreshing actually. There's some smoother parts around the front of the tongue, and overall, to me it actually comes out a little bit drier, and that's what I like about these hoppy craft beer takes on the Pils. It's a very, very good beer, very good, I would say, with regards to the Pils style. Of course, Toil of course have some really kind of in-your-face beers, and it's not one of those. But if you go into it with the mind that it's something a little bit different, you definitely will enjoy this one. So if you enjoy beers with a big kind of Munich bready malt base, but with with a bit more of a hoppy character, then you certainly will enjoy this one. So have a go and see what you think. But yeah, as always, I hope you've enjoyed my beer review. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comments section if you've tried it below. Let me know your favourite toe wheel beers as well. Go and check out my other toe wheel reviews, and hopefully I can review some more toe wheel beers for you in the fairly near future. I'm very close to Copenhagen, so I'm sure I will do that. But thank you once again for watching. Until the next time, Sjaelland just now. Go and check out the My Pills, which is quite widely available here in Sweden, from Toe Wheel in Copenhagen in Denmark. One of my favourite breweries, in fact, so make sure you check them out. Sjaelland just now.